covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. We certainly appreciate you spending part of your day with us, where today we're going to get a feel for pretty much everything that's going on in Augusta. You know, I would say once a quarter, it behooves us to get an Augusta-Richmond County Commissioner or the mayor, as has happened recently, on the set of the Means Report to tell us what's happening in Augusta. How are things going when it comes to the men and women who run this town? Getting set for Masters, certainly a hot topic, as we're now just days away from that big annual event. And as always, we'll wrap up the Means Report with ways that you can stay in touch with us. But first, I looked on the calendar to make sure that we had waited long enough to bring him back, and it had been, I think, 4 months. So we do welcome back to the Means Report Augusta-Richmond County Commission District 7 Representative Sean Frantom. Commissioner Frantom, thank you so much for coming back.
Absolutely. It's glad to be back, Brad.
Me too. I'm excited to have you back, and I'll just start with a super general question. How's Augusta doing? You sit there, you have a great vantage point.
Yep.
How are we doing?
I think we're doing well. Obviously, it's an election season, so that definitely hypes up things going on in Augusta. But I think when the world's coming to your town in a few weeks, it's an exciting time. And I think that we're doing some great things. I think we've got a lot of economic growth going on. Financially, from a city standpoint, we exceeded our budget last year. So it's an exciting time for Augusta.
All right, so speaking of Masters, we had something on the news recently about a new light at Washington Road and River Ridge Drive. How will that light help Masters traffic in a few days, and will it be permanent?
Well, it won't be permanent.
Okay.
It'll be up for 3 weeks. We're going to fight with GDOT to try to keep it permanent because the residents of National Hills would really like to see it, the ability to take a left off of River Ridge onto Washington Road. But the main aspect of it is the fact that the Masters Golf Tournament, they have a new hospitality area over there.
That's right.
It allows traffic to come in and out. It allows them to get pedestrians safely across. They expect about 1,000 patrons a day to go across Washington Road. At the west side of River Ridge Drive, there'll be some stripings that you'll see. But everything there will be temporary for about 3 weeks, and it will start on Monday, April 1st.
What about traffic going up and down Washington Road? Will that new light slow the Washington Road folks down?
It could. I mean, obviously, with that many pedestrians coming across, it could slow it down.
Right.
But they've got this worked out pretty well. It's exciting that for the first time ever, we're going to have an app to navigate the traffic through. So you'll know on your phone through Waze and different Google Maps the ability to, when you're coming to the Masters, to see what parking lot is available for parking.
Okay, I know we're in the early stages of this. Is it an app that you have to download, and then will it take you to an available parking spot?
It's a QR code that you'll click. It's already on your ticket packet. It's on the websites. You'll see it in a lot of literature that they have, where you'll go. It'll direct you straight to the Waves maps, and then it'll kind of direct you real time what property that parking is available.
Okay, that's a great feature. And of course, it's something that the Masters would have. They do everything so well. What's that like for you that week? Are you busy? Are you hosting? What are you doing?
Mainly working, but
Yeah.
Obviously if constituents, they'll call if there's parking issues, if there's people blocking houses, especially in the National Hills area. I will tell you 2 years ago, it was very difficult. It seemed like the increased traffic and a lot more people were parking in National Hills, and it created some safety things where people couldn't get to their home or get around it. I actually went out there on Saturday with the director, and we realized that we need to paint some yellow curbs and try to see what we can do to make it ease the congestion in the National Hills area. And I think with what we've done from the commission to allow them to park more cars at the Eisenhower to get their employees up, will alleviate some of that traffic on Washington Road, because they will be able to come in from Riverwatch and leave on Riverwatch as opposed to coming through Washington Road this year.
Commissioner, it seems like we have law enforcement from all over the region converging on Augusta that week. I'm guessing those officers play a key role in traffic.
There's CHAMPS, there's a couple of different agencies across the state that come to make sure as well as we shut down Washington Road. Coming from the Georgia side at 7 a.m., you'll go to Riverwatch and go up Alexander to get.
That's
if you're
right.
coming from South Carolina, you can get off on Washington Road. But, I mean, they've kind of worked this out on how they're doing things. There is some changes around the Surrey Center area where you won't be able to go north. You'll have to basically go back and get Washington Road if you live in the Wellington Drive area, that you'll have some new congestions there. But they got it worked out pretty well, for sure.
What about the way Augusta looks when it comes to litter. I know there was a push recently to try to get volunteers to come out and clean up our town in advance of all of our visitors, our guests arriving. How do you think we're doing when it comes to cleanliness?
Well, unfortunately, like with the homeless situation and just I think community pride is lacking a little bit in District 7, where we try to keep it clean, but as soon as we clean it, it gets destroyed again. Yes, it's the Masters, and yes, the world comes to see us, and we want it to look good, but we need to be doing that the other 51 weeks of the year as well. We get criticized where we're putting all these resources just for 1 week, but you have to understand also that the world comes to our city. We want to make sure that we look good. There's economic drivers and economic opportunity by these people coming to our city, and I think we do a pretty good job for that week. But as far as the other 51 weeks a year, we still have our challenges, and we still have to work at working with the Marshals Department and code enforcement to hold accountable property owners as well moving forward.
Let's take a look at some of those issues when it comes to code enforcement. Do signs in the right-of-way fall under that?
They absolutely do. I mean, signs in the right of way are my probably biggest pet peeve.
Right.
I picked up 30 this past week.
You pick them up and put them in your car.
I pick them in my car every week.
Wow.
Me and my kids do it as well. It's a big pet peeve of mine. Real estate signs, master's ticket signs, it doesn't matter. Car wash signs. Like, we got to clean up our community and take pride in where we live. For me, it's just always been about representing my district that way. So I bet I picked up over probably 5,000 signs.
If I have a small business, if I'm a pressure washer, where can I put my sign to advertise my business if you keep yanking them up and putting them in your truck?
It's against the law
right.
to put them within the right of ways. So don't do it because they won't be there.
What about the real estate signs? Are you talking about for sale signs? What kind of signs do you see?
Anything that's in the right of ways cannot be there.
Okay.
It's against state law. And so I don't see as many real estate signs, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't touch signs in people's yards. But these major intersections, it's just everybody wants tax business. It's worse, honestly, during tax season than it is during the Masters.
It is. You're right. They're everywhere, and it's such a distraction and an eyesore. Okay, so that covers the signs when it comes to our cleanliness. What about overgrown grass? I was talking to our senior reporter, George Ascala. He was telling me that there are landlords who live out of town. They'll let their grass on their property get high. The city cuts it, and then they just get a bill for the mowing. No punishment. Yeah,
this is a topic we're going to be discussing. We discussed it last Tuesday. We're going to be discussing moving forward. But basically, the fine that we make them cut it, it's cheaper for them to pay that as opposed to upkeeping it themselves.
Wow.
So we need to look at increase our fines on these property owners that don't live here, because it is mainly property owners that don't live here to maintain their property. And so, again, $350 to keep your grass cut, and 90 days before we do that, that's cheaper than having a lawn service come out every 2 weeks.
It sure is.
So it's on us. I mean, this spurred from there's 3 tractor trailer mobile units that are in South Augusta that have been there for months, and we hadn't been able to get them moved. So we've got to put some teeth in some things to hold property owners more accountable from a fines perspective.
I know we talked last time about blight, and this is something that also these property owners and landlords can help us resolve. Do you still see a lot of blight around town, around District 7?
There's a little bit in my district on the ends. I mean, obviously it's District 1 and District 2 that have most of the blight. Again, our lack of holding some of these property owners accountable. We did put it in an ordinance. Hadn't seen a lot of teeth in it, or a lot of things happen in it yet. But we've got to do a better job on our end of holding them accountable for sure.
I want to hit 2 more topics about the cleanliness of our city, because it's important. And a lot of times that cleanliness is part of the first impression visitors get when they come in to our gateways into town. I know that there's been pushes over the years to spruce those gateways up. How do you think they're looking?
Well, thankfully, a local business owner maintains 3 of our major gateways in our community.
Just a private sector person.
Private sector center. Thank God he does it, because sometimes we hear like these areas look better than our areas, but people don't realize that a private individual is putting his resources in to maintain those areas. We could always do better. I think with what you're seeing, this homeless situation across the country, not just Augusta, it's in Augusta more than, like people say, why not Columbia County? Why not? Well, we have the more the resources for the homeless, so some of them are being dropped off here, let's just say. And I think that they realize that because of the traffic, the amount of people that work in Richmond County and come to Richmond County each day, they're on the corners, the major intersections, the Wrightsboro roads, the Washington roads, trying to get money. And if I could say anything, don't be giving them money, give them food, because when they get money, some of them are not homeless. Some of them, this is a scam, that this is what they're doing, and because we know that they're parking in different intersections, and that's what they're doing. But just from an accountability standpoint, it's just tough because they do come around, they have shopping carts, they have different things, and we want to help them. We want to provide service for them. There's not enough mental service across this country that a lot of these people are dealing with mental health issues, and we need to put more resources towards that. But at the end of the day, we can only do so much from a cleanliness standpoint because I feel like there's so much going on from the homeless situation or people in general that, can't make ends meet.
What about another component of cleanliness? And this is the last question before we take a break. And that's the way we try to keep our houses and our yards clean. And then we roll our cans out to the street and the trucks come and pick everything up. Is garbage service changing? It seems that a few months ago, y'all were talking about potentially scaling it back.
Yeah, this is a tough situation. We have 3 different zones. They're all not bid out at the same time. We're looking at possibly trying to get them all in the same bid cycle. Right now, there's a push to possibly keep everything status quo but the city basically forks the bill, takes care of the bill because it is in excess of over $1 million of things. But I'm hoping that we can rebid this component out because there needs to have all players at the table. We need to make sure that we're being fair across the board because we were about to put in where a zone 1, which is downtown, gets less service and pays more than a zone 2 or zone 3. And that just doesn't work. And so we need to all be on the same sheet of music to make this correct.
All right. Thank you for that. That helps clear a lot of things up, helps give us a grasp of what's going on around town when it comes to keeping our town looking its best. When we come back, a chance for you to see Commissioner Frantom in a bit of a different light. He's a great hype man, and we have video to prove it. Wrestling fans, stay tuned for the Means Report. Welcome back to the Means Report. District 7 Commissioner Sean Frantom from Augusta, Richmond County is our special guest, giving us great updates on everything that's going on in town. And 2 of the biggest things that we've been watching, the impending demolition and reconstruction of the James Brown Arena and the improvements that are almost finished at the Bell Auditorium. Before I talk to you about those projects, I want to show everybody some special video of Commissioner Frantom closing out the James Brown Arena in style at a recent pro wrestling event.
Of the last WWE show here in the old James Brown Arena, 6,300 strong. Give yourself a round of applause. We are so thankful that you were able to go to the polls in November and get us a new James Brown Arena. In 2027, we're going to open a new James Brown Arena right here in Augusta, and we're going to have Raw or SmackDown at the next WWE show. What do you say, Augusta? Commission, we want to welcome everyone here tonight to witness this great show, this packed house, and a special welcome to all of the Cody crybabies here tonight. Cody crybaby, let me hear you make some noise. And while you're at it, help me acknowledge our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. This is Cody Rhodes country. We've got for Cody Rhodes to finish his story in Pennsylvania. On behalf of the city of Augusta, again, thank you for coming out. It's just man! Augusta is cooking!
Oh my goodness. Wait a second. That's our esteemed District 7 Commissioner. Who knew you were such a hype man? How did you summon that energy?
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it emceeing a few times.
Yeah.
This all came from Commissioner Johnson and I. It was a Halloween commission meeting. I said, let's dress up, James Brown vote. Let's dress up, and we dressed up, and then we go cut an Arena Boys video in front of the James Brown Arena, shared by thousands. WWE, they sent it to WWE. WWE saw it, and they said, you know what, we're going to let y'all open up the show. So we're in the gorilla. We walk out with the mics. It was a great experience for both of us.
Well, you got the crowd so fired up. Were you holding like one of those championship belts?
Yeah, the U.S. Championship belt.
Oh my gosh. Well, so listen, first of all, great job. Josh Ricoeur, our News Channel 6 director, great job on the video. Commissioner, you closed out the JBA in style that night when you took the stage. So are you excited about the new James Brown Arena, and do you think it's something that will just change us?
It's game changing.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that, they mentioned that, WWE would be SmackDown or Raw will come next. I think when you look at it's bigger than the Savannah Arena. You look at all the businesses downtown that are going to benefit from having this new James Brown Arena. It's slated to open late 2026 or early 2027. It's going to be a game changer for downtown Augusta.
How about the Bell Auditorium, which is right next to the James Brown Arena? We got an update this past week that it's close to completion, the renovations.
Yeah, it should open in late May. The first show, I think, is in late May.
Man.
It's Ben Folds, I think, May 31st. And it's just an exciting time to be in Augusta. We're not going to lose any entertainment because that's going to open. And then they'll decommission and get rid of the old James Brown Arena in June or July.
And just so people can picture this, you're going to demolish the existing JBA. It'll just be a flat, clean slate.
Yeah, it won't be where you walk in underground anymore. It'll be a clean slate, and then it's built up.
Built up.
Yeah,
okay.
this will be the landscape of Augusta is definitely about to change when they see this new James Brown Arena.
Man, I can't wait. All right, let's try to hit some hot topics around town as we continue this segment on the Means Report. First of all, I want to talk about potentially putting businesses on probation. Y'all looked at a couple of local businesses that had crimes committed on their property and talked about putting them on probation. And then it seems kind of maybe tabled that. Where does that stand?
Well, I mean, one of them is still on probation. I think it's a balance that we don't want to take a business out of out of work, but in the same respect, we have a safety aspect for this community as well as supporting the law enforcement. Richmond County law enforcement. I mean, when a business has deaths, homicides, or a business has had over 2,000 calls, we need to put them on notice. Thankfully, each one of those businesses has come to a plan of increasing law enforcement presence, increasing camera security. So they heard us, but it was like after the fact.
Right.
So for me, I just felt like we needed to keep them on probation 6 months. We're not taking their license away. We're not shutting them down. But it was the right measure based on what happened at these establishments.
All right. Thank you for clearing that up, and we'll continue to monitor that. And yeah, if you're a business owner, you have a responsibility to keep your property safe and keep your customers safe. Commissioner Frantom, our roads sure are bumpy. It seems that no matter what part of town, no matter what district, there's a lot of disrepair when it comes to those streets. Is that a Richmond County thing or is that a state thing?
Well, some of them are state roads, but a lot of it is Richmond County. I mean, obviously there's not enough money for the needs of our community.
Yeah.
I think what you're going to see, though, is SPLOST 9, when you vote on that in November of next year, what you're going to see is a lot more infrastructure in the plan, because I think that's the need. We still have a lot still from this current SPLOST to put out in the paving that we haven't done yet.
Okay.
We're able to pave like a mile per district and things, and that's where it comes hard, because it's like every district needs to get a piece of the pie in a sense, and we can't do it all. For me, in my district, just Eisenhower Drive, Augusta National's using a lot more based on the volunteers that are parking down Eisenhower Park. My focus over the next 8 months is to try to get that repaved with the support of them, because of the amount of volume that they are using on that road, and working with GDOT and them to try to make that happen, especially in my district.
What about speaking of votes, the possibility of the mayor of Augusta getting a vote on commission matters? Do you support that? And if so, why?
Absolutely. I think when you look, I've been on this commission almost 9 years. When you look at how stagnant we are and the ability for an agenda item to not pass based on absentee, I'm abstain. The bigger picture, though, for me is that he is an elected official by the entire community. Why does he not get an equal vote, an equal say? He's part of the governing body. If you look at the charter, he is part of the governing body. And I just think it's the right message to move this community forward. I think if you don't support it, it's because you're happy with the way the government is, or you want to protect interests, frankly, of the way the current government is if you don't support this mayor vote.
So a lot of times we'll see on commission matters 5 people for something, 5 people against something. Is this a game changer when you get that mayor vote, if this happens, where you could start pushing a lot of things through?
It is a game changer.
Yeah.
Now, but the other aspect of that is like, who's the next mayor? Like, people are like, oh, what if I don't like the next mayor aspect, or if you don't like the mayor now? I think what you're going to see, though, is you're going to see a charter review right after or in the near future. And it could be that you can abstain possibly in the future with the charter review based on what the community feedback is. We could be a city manager form of government. There's lots of things that I think maybe the mayor doesn't even have the vote down the road because the charter review changes things. But I do think it's important that the mayor gets a vote. I feel confident it's going to pass based on my constituents and the feeling I have in the community, because I think people are ready for a change. They want to see some things move that they haven't seen move within our government, and I think this will definitely help.
I may have asked you this the last 2 times you were on the Means Report. When will we have a permanent administrator?
Not sure.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's up in the air.
Yeah.
Do you feel like anything is imminent on that front?
No, I think that everybody, as I said last time, is kind of locked in who they like based on experiences and based on feelings. But I think what it's brought to the forefront is this mayoral vote because of the absenteeism, that if a colleague would have had to vote no, the mayor would have, it seems like, already voted and we'd already have an administrator.
Yeah, it seems that way. Will the Laney Walker Bethlehem area get a grocery store? Food deserts is a popular topic in the news.
Yeah, it seems like we got a $500,000 grant. I think that things are moving along there. HCD is doing a good job of trying to facilitate that. I think it will. I don't know that it's going to be a Publix or things what people would anticipate. Right. But it's something that's desperately needed in that area.
What else on the hot topics list? Our airport. We have a great airport, don't we?
Yeah, and we had a lot of flights for Masters, and they're doing some great jobs, new hangars and things that we're working on there.
Yeah, they're redoing everything.
Yeah, it looks great down there.
I do it. I love it. What about you? As you wrap up, as you mentioned, almost a decade of public service on the commission, what's next for you? Are you that next mayor that we have to decide whether we like or dislike?
I don't know. I mean, I just know I'm going to be sad when I leave.
Yeah.
I get a little bit emotional thinking about it because I've served almost 9 years. I've been able to make an impact. I've been able to help people. It's in my heart and my blood to stay involved in some manner. I don't know what that is yet. I just continue to be engaged, pray about it, see what next journey and what it could be for me. I just know that I can't go away because I love this community too much.
Is your family cool with you staying in public service if you chose to?
You know, that's a tough conversation with my wife sometimes. I think my kids are going to miss me being on the commission.
It's a cool job.
Yeah, it's cool. They think it's cool. They saw the video. They think it's cool. Some of the cool things that I've been able to do. I mean, I opened a premiere the other night here in Augusta, and they think they're cool things. But they also see I was on the phone with a constituent, and he started berating me in front of my kid. And at one point, almost cussing at me. And so that was tough to have my kid listen to that aspect. So there is the good and the bad with being in public service. But I know I've done the honest thing. I've done the right things. I can put my head on my pillow knowing that I voted the way of my conscience and I didn't do anything. I didn't get any personal gain out of anything. So it's been good, but I will miss it for sure.
Well, you are out there and you're working hard and you're going through situations like you just described with your child. I can't believe that people are so mean sometimes, but so many people are on the sidelines not doing a single thing. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. District 7 Commissioner Sean Frantom, a special guest on the Means Report, always gives us great insight and information. When we come back, how you can help us get more great guests like the Commissioner. It's easy to do that. We will show you how in just a moment.